Let's do
Okay.
it.
Okay, cool. So I recorded it. Hopefully, okay, great. Okay, so hi, Dad. How are
Hi,
you?
Jennifer. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good.
Okay, we are gonna take about 10 minutes to do that repetition exercise. So what the repetition exercise does is just kind of to get the actor comfortable with observing their partner who they're reading with. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna only focus on my physical attributes. So like I have a black shirt on, I have a butterfly necklace, and I'm gonna focus on you. You have a white shirt on, you have some headphones on. That's awesome. Or anything. You have brown eyes. You have glasses on. So we're gonna make those observations, and if we want to go ahead and run through that real quick, it
Sure.
we're gonna run through it for about 10 minutes. So
Great.
cool. All right, so let's start just practicing. We're gonna do, I'll just start. So what you're gonna do is I'll say, you have a white shirt. And then you would respond, I have a white shirt. So let's start with that.
Okay.
You have a white shirt,
I do have a white shirt.
okay? Then you're gonna respond back to me with something physical about me. So
You're wearing a necklace today.
I'm wearing a necklace today.
You also have earrings on.
I have earrings on.
Your
You
shirt is black.
you have a white shirt on.
I do have a white shirt on.
You have black headphones on.
I do have black headphones. You do not have headphones.
I don't have headphones.
You do not have headphones that
So,
would match your black shirt.
okay, that's good. It kind of, I know how confusing it gets, kind of. Let's try that one more time. So, right in the middle of it, when I was doing this for the first time, I got a little confused because I was like, what do I do once I get in the middle of it and I get all confused, kind of? You know how your brain kind of gets jumbled up right in the middle of it, and you're like, I have a black shirt. Um, let's try that one more time. Um,
Sure. I was just not sure because when we're describing physical attributes, I mean, you have 3 or 4 things going on you physically right now, but that's about it. But let's go again.
yeah, you can say you can even lie. You can say you have a red shirt on.
Okay.
Then the next time you can say you have a green shirt on.
Okay,
So
I got
you
you.
kind
All
of
right.
mix up. This is
Yeah.
just to kind of get you comfortable, get you focusing on the other person you're reading with. So let's try one more time. You
Okay.
did the first time. Um, so a you have glasses on.
And you're wearing a black shirt.
I'm wearing a black shirt.
I'm wearing a white shirt.
So try to focus now back on me.
You're wearing a necklace.
You're wearing a white shirt.
And your black t-shirt says Dance Big Red.
My black t-shirt says Dance Big Red.
Your earrings are shiny.
My earrings are shiny.
Your shirt is blue.
Your headphones are black.
Your eyebrows are black.
My eyebrows are black.
My eyebrows are black too.
No, that was good. See, you you always so whenever I bounce and I like one on you, so when I say you have a white shirt on, you can always be like, I have a white shirt on. Or I'll say, you have black headphones. I have black headphones. So
Okay.
that was good. That was good. We'll try, how about one more time? But
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
it's all good.
All right. So um you have hazel eyes.
I have hazel eyes.
You have black headphones.
You are not wearing headphones,
I am not wearing headphones.
but you are wearing a necklace.
You have a white shirt on.
My shirt is white,
You have.
but okay.
You're good. That was good.
But
That was
you are
good.
not wearing headphones.
I am not wearing headphones.
You have 2 earrings on.
You have no earrings on.
My shirt is yellow.
That was good. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So that was called a repetition exercise. That just kind of allows you to get comfortable with the person you're reading with. So now I think are kind of feeling a little bit comfortable. We're gonna go ahead and did you have that script kind of pulled up? I believe I
Yeah, I've got your script that you sent me. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just do an initial table read
Okay.
for the script. It's a 3-page script, so we're just gonna read through the whole script. For this first one, I will
Okay.
action. You will be reading for Sean today.
Sean, okay. All
Uh-huh.
right.
And I'll
So,
be reading for Marcus, and I'll read the action for this first one just so you can kind of get familiar.
okay.
I know you said before I started the recording that you ran through the script and whatnot, but we will. I'll go ahead and read the action and Marcus just to kind of get more familiar with that. So let's go ahead and read through it for this first one.
Okay.
So again, you're reading Sean, and I'll be reading Marcus.
And you're going to read the action?
Yes, I will for this first one.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're ready, I'll go ahead and start.
Mm-hmm.
Exterior rich neighborhood entrance, car day. A car sits in a parking lot. Sean, in the driver's seat, looks over at Marcus as he quickly gathers his items at his feet.
Why don't you ever let me take you home? It's like a 1.5 mile walk to Clark Street on a good day.
Marcus shoves a jacket into his backpack as he ignores the question.
Oh, I see.
What?
You don't want your rich boys knowing you have a friend like me.
Marcus nervously laughs and shakes his head. Man, it's not like that. What am I supposed to say?
That you're rich?
Sean stretches his hands in a waving motion and closes his eyes dramatically.
I can see it now. Big chandelier with one of those guys that cook for you.
A butler?
Yeah, you gotta have one of those.
Sean laughs at Marcus and gets out of the car. I'm not that rich. Marcus slams the door as he heads down the block towards Clark Street. Marcus sticks his head out the window.
See you later, rich boy.
Exterior housing project day. Marcus walks up the stairs, dragging his feet as he wrestles around his pocket for a key as he approaches the door. He puts his head on the doorknob, rests his head against the door, and lets out an exhausted sigh. The door pushes open and slams behind Marcus. Interior bedroom night. A phone lights up in a dark room. Marcus picks up his phone and looks at the text from Sean that reads, I meant to ask you. I did you a solid with your rich boy ride home. Can you help me and my mom move in some furniture tomorrow at my new place? The location pops up on the phone. Marcus looks at the location. Shit. Marcus clicks off the phone and puts his hands in his face. He picks up the phone and texts Sean back. Sure thing. Exterior housing project day. Marcus closes the door and looks down to see Sean and his mom moving boxes into the apartment on the second level. Sean looks up to see Marcus and waves at him.
Hey man, wrong door. We're over here.
Marcus hesitantly walks down the stairs with his head down.
Get lost? A little different from where you live.
Yeah, I guess.
Here, help me with this desk.
The two boys pick up the heavy desk and struggle to bring it up the first step. The weight suddenly gets easier as a man steps in and helps them bring the desk up the stairs. They steadily climb up to one stair at a time until they reach the second floor. The man, Rick, the landlord, stops and takes a long breath until he looks up and recognizes Marcus. Marcus, good to see you again. It's been a minute. I see you've met your new neighbor. Sean looks at Marcus confused. We are already friends. Good to hear that. Well, let me know if you boys need any more help. Rick walks off, but the two boys stand awkwardly. Sean looks up at Marcus. His head is down as he tries not to make eye contact.
You live here?
Silence falls upon them while Marcus wipes dust off the desk in front of him.
So the big house.
Not mine. Sean nods and takes a deep breath. He takes a step forward and puts his hand on Marcus's shoulder, pauses, and tries to find the right words to say.
Man, you had me thinking you were rich.
Marcus looks up and lets out a small, hesitant chuckle. We are rich. What are you talking about? Marcus wipes the dust off the desk as they move inside. All right, great, great. That was a good first read through.
Yeah.
Um, so what
So Rick's the landlord?
yeah,
Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All
so
right.
that's good. I kind of just want to go over just what the story is about. So that first read through probably gave you a little bit of a sense of what the story is about. So, but I kind of just want to, if that, just kind of want to go through it a little bit and kind of why I told this story and whatnot. So, so for Rich Boy, it's really about Marcus, who struggles to tell his friend Sean about his home life and his living situation. Um, I believe that through the tough conversation that they have to have, or just even the realization and revelation throughout this film, kind of resonates with a lot of teenagers. So that's kind of why I told this story, is that even though we're different, we might not be as different as we all think we are.
Sure. When you say projects, do you mean like a housing project?
Yeah, so
Like a low income,
lower income, yeah.
lower income? Okay.
Yeah, and that's where Sean, who you're reading for, um, him and Marcus aren't, like, what I'm trying to get through is that they're not as different as they think, because they both live, or Sean or Marcus is moving in to where Sean lives, and that's the lower income area. So in essence, Marcus is just lying, almost just because he feels ashamed.
He's
For telling
ashamed
that.
of where he's lived. And is that why he wants to be dropped off or is dropped off? Not really at his house, but somewhere else, and he doesn't let the other boy take him home?
Yeah, so who you're reading for, Sean, he's embarrassed. Marcus is embarrassed to tell Sean, but they're really not as different as they think, which obviously they aren't, because they're moving in next door to each other. They're neighbors now. So yeah, so that's kind of we'll kind
Okay.
of go more into that in a second. We'll kind of break once we read through it a few more times, just to kind of get you familiar with it. We'll break down each kind of beat, and that'll help kind of tell that story from an actor standpoint and from directing. So let's go ahead and kind of look at the script. For you, for your first read through, where did you notice kind of like a shift for Marcus? For what I'm saying in that is like what I call a beat change. I believe the biggest beat change was when Sean at the end was like, he had to take that kind of breathe and was like, hey man, we're not, you had me thinking you're rich, but he had to take that moment. Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, quite honestly, I'm kind of just we just read through it for the first time, and I did kind of peek it over once earlier.
Yeah,
So I need to get a little bit closer to the
okay,
story
that's fine. No, I totally agree. Let's I'm glad we read through that.
before I can make that judgment call or understand where those shifts happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, to your point, I can see at the end when he realizes that they live
In the
in the
same.
same projects. Okay.
Okay, yeah. No, that's good. So let's just steer away towards, since I kind of just want to read through it again. So we're gonna take we're gonna do a 10-minute kind of run through again. Uh, we call it a rote memorization exercise. This is where I want you to read through the dialogue, um, very emotionless almost, just for
Okay.
fun. This kind of just gives me a sense of a way to direct you from there.
It's very kind of monotone,
Yeah,
kind of just,
yeah.
okay,
That'd be great. I just kind of want to see how you take that direction. Also, this allows me for your read when you're putting the emotion in, and we're going to switch kind of we're going to switch up kind of your direction for each emotion. This kind of helps me start at a base. So we're going to go ahead and do that for a few minutes.
okay,
So for Sean, I kind of want it to be very monotone, like you said. That was great. Um, just emotionless, kind of no tone. We're gonna do that a few times, but I would like you to read it 3 times, and we can just take a break in between each time. Um, with your eyes on the page, so no, you don't have to show any emotion or joke. It says jokingly on the script. You'll just stay monotone.
okay.
Keep your eyes on the paper. Okay.
Sure, real quick, is Sean, are these kids in high school?
Yes, yes. So
Okay,
Sean and Marcus are coming home from
high
what
school.
we want to say is practice.
Okay, all right,
So
perfect.
okay, great. So we'll do that monotoned, no tone,
Yep,
and you can just read Sean's lines and skip over Marcus's. So
okay,
just your own. So whenever you're ready.
all right. Why don't you ever let me take you home? It's like a 1.5 mile walk to Clark Street on a good day. Oh, I see. You don't want your rich boys knowing you have a friend like me. That you're rich. I can see it now. Big chandelier with one of those guys that cook for you. Yeah, you gotta have one of those. See you later, rich boy. Hey man, wrong door. We're over here. Get lost? A little different from where you live. Help me with this desk. You live here? So, the big house. Man, you had me thinking you were rich.
Great,
I
great.
believe that's it.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. I saw how you kind of I think there was times in that where you kind of it was kind of hard to keep that monotone. Was there, do you think, a time where you're like,
Yeah, yeah, at least, yeah, only because I'm starting to understand it more, and there's, I
yeah,
guess it would be natural to want to put emotion into the read.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. That means once we get to that part that you can take that direction. Can we go ahead and do that one more time? Just
Mm-hmm.
keep reading it, and then we'll do it with me doing the monotone with you. Um,
Sure.
if we want to try that one more time.
So you'll be reading Marcus and that other character, right?
Let's do it one more time. Just you doing try to be try a little bit to be more monotone, but that was great.
Okay. All
Just
right.
reading it and then
Even when my gut tells me to add, okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
It's such an odd like thing to do.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it. It's
Kind of
an
takes you
exercise.
out the scene a little bit, and kind of gives you that like perspective of like, okay, I'm reading, I'm being an actor right now.
Okay.
I'm not being an actor right now. I'm trying to do something that's not capable or possible. So it's kind of fun. Okay, let's try it one more time.
Good. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to the top of page 1.
Okay.
Why don't you ever let me take you home? It's like a 1.5 mile walk to Clark Street on a good day. Oh, I see. You don't want your rich boys knowing you have a friend like me. That you're rich. I can see it now. Big chandelier with one of those guys that cook for you. Yeah, you gotta have one of those. See you later, rich boy. Hey, man, wrong door. We're over here. Get lost? A little different from where you live. Help me with this desk. You live here? So, the big house. Man, you had me thinking you were rich.
Great. Cool. That was good. Kept that
Was it
monotone.
monotone enough?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
Okay.
I know, like, I know at the end it's like hard to push that because you're like, man, you have me think you're rich. Because it's just like that natural instinct to like not act monotone.
Yeah.
Is that zinc? Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and read that with you.
Okay.
I'll read the Marcus. Um, we're gonna do kind of that same monotone read through. Let's try one more time.
Just me or you?
Me and you.
Good.
Okay. Are we ready?
We are.
Okay. Start whenever.
Why don't you let me take you home? It's like a mile and a half walk to Clark Street on a good day.
Oh, I see.
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh, I see. That was my line.
oh
Oh, I
yeah, that
see.
was my mistake.
No, you're
What?
good. Oh, I see.
What?
You don't want your rich boys knowing you have a friend like me,
Man, it's not like that. What am I supposed to say?
that you're rich. I can see now. Big chandelier with one of those guys that cook for you.
A butler.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those.
I'm not that rich.
See you later, rich boy.
Shit.
Okay, let me see. Hey man, wrong door. We're over here. Get lost? A little different from where you live.
Yeah, I guess.
Here, help me with this desk.
Marcus, good to see you again. It's been a minute. I see you've met your new neighbors. We are already friends. Good to hear that. Well, let me know if you boys need any more help.
You live here? So, the big house?
Not mine.
Man, you had me thinking you were rich.
We we are rich. What are you talking about? Great.
Sorry, I put some emotion into that last one because I'm starting to get comfortable with the dialogue now.
Good. Good. Well,
Yeah,
that's the whole point of uh those exercises to like, get you out of your head and kind of like just not be an actor for a second and be, you're reading this something. So
yeah.
that was good. Okay. So next we're gonna kind of just talk about the script a little bit.
Okay,
We're gonna break down a little bit of scene one, which is where they're sitting in a car
okay.
and they're kind of just talking, and we don't really know. We really don't. We're kind of plopped in this situation as the audience, and we're sitting here watching what might occur. So what I kind of want to go through is what's actually happening in the scene. So for Sean and Marcus are literally just sitting in the car talking. But what is kind of like in the depths of this scene is that Sean wants an answer from Marcus, even though he doesn't really know what that answer is yet. If you can kind of tell, I don't really want to like get into the dialogue as much, but when he says like, "Oh, it's a mile and a half towards Clark Street," um, what he really wants from Marcus is an answer to why he's not letting him see his home life. Um, does that kind of make sense? He's in a way
Ye-
he just wants an answer. Um,
Yeah.
and,
Well, yeah.
and
Okay.
go ahead.
No, I'm starting to put together. I guess one of them is kind of ashamed of where he lives.
Mhm. Yeah, that would be Marcus. So Marcus is ashamed of where he lives. Sean, on the other hand, I Sean is kind of, I don't want to use the word cocky, but in a way he's kind of um, kind of true to himself and knows himself, whereas Marcus doesn't yet as much. And that's kind of apparent at the ending when, or even in the middle when Marcus asks Sean if he can help him um, move into his new home. He obviously isn't very embarrassed about where he lives, whereas Sean is kind of this closed off. I'm sorry, Marcus is kind of this closed off, and Sean um, wants Marcus to kind of let go. So um, if we want to, can we go ahead and read through scene 1 again? I'm gonna kind of give you we're gonna kind of settle on what Sean really wants in this scene. So this is kind of like a joking scene, almost kind of very playful. We don't really take this scene very seriously as an audience because we don't really know what's going on as much in these kids' life yet.
Okay.
We're on the
You
outside. So
said what Sean wants, essentially wants to know why he doesn't let him take him home.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's
All right.
basically that's exactly spot on the want of that first scene.
Right.
And if you can kind of tell, he doesn't really get what he wants, but he kind of jokingly like waves him off in a way, but he still doesn't get it. So what for this next, we're gonna do one read through just for scene 1. What I kind of want to go over is something. So what Sean wants from Marcus is to kind of be straight with him in a way, um, in a mimicking way. Don't you agree? Kind of, he's like he wants that answer, but he kind of is joking around with him and kind of teasing him around.
Yeah. So, but Sean knows that Marcus does live over on Clark Street, right? Because
Uh,
he says that. He
so Sean
says,
has the impression that he does live on Clark Street. He's like,
oh,
hey,
okay.
you're like
Okay.
a mile and a half. It's a mile and a half walk to Clark Street. You
So Clark Street must be kind of a metaphor for an affluent area.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's what.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. So he's trying to get him to kind of admit about where he lives, or kind of to be straight with him. He kind of knows something is up, I believe, but he's kind of just still friends with him. He's teasing him. We don't really know much as the audience or as the readers in this scene. It's kind
Okay.
of the build up. So let's go ahead and read through this first scene. It starts with Sean saying, "Why don't you ever let me take you home?" And it ends on "See you later, rich boy," at that end of
Okay.
that scene. So let's kind of take that direction of to be straight with me, in a way, and to tease him, which it kind of seems like in the dialogue that they're joking around, they're still friends. So if we want to just read through that, now that we kind of map out our kind of action there.
Sure. Are you reading Marcus or I'm just solo on this?
I'll read Marcus, and I'll read the dialogue as well, or the
Thank
action.
you.
Sorry.
Okay, good.
Okay, so a car sits in a parking lot. Sean, in the driver's seat, looks over at Marcus as he quickly gathers his items at his feet.
Why don't you ever let me take you home? It's like a mile and a half walk to Clark Street on a good day.
Marcus shoves the jacket into his backpack as he ignores the question.
Oh, I see.
What?
You don't want your rich boys knowing you have a friend like me.
Marcus nervously laughs and shakes his head. Man, it's not like that. What am I supposed to say?
That you're rich?
Sean stretches his hand in a waving motion and closes his eyes dramatically.
I can see it now. Big chandelier with one of those guys that cook for you.
A butler?
Yeah, you gotta have one of those guys.
I'm not that rich. Marcus slams the door as he heads down the block towards Clark Street. Marcus sticks his head out the window.
See you later, rich boy.
Great. That was good. Yeah, so I think I really think that I don't know if I think that resonated hopefully with his want. What Sean really wants is that Sean wants an answer, but he's just not getting it in this first scene. So that was good. Um, so and let's go ahead and let's go ahead and run through the memorization again, just to kind of get out of our head a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and just do that monotoned again, if that's okay with you.
Sure. Are we picking up on 2 or are we going back to 1?
Let's start with, hey man, wrong door. So that's scene 4. On page 3. Hey man, wrong door, we're over here.
Okay, and I got you. Yeah, I know where we're at. And then you said monotone, right?
Yeah, so we'll do that memorization, the rote mechanism again.
Okay.
That just we kind of went over some essential action. We're gonna do this just to kind of get out of our head a little bit.
Good.
Okay, let's go ahead and
All right.
I'll read for
This
Marcus.
is all right. I'm gonna start it with, "Hey man, wrong door. We're over here."
Okay.
You reading the action or not?
I'll not read the action and make sure just to stay as monotone as possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's start again. This
You're fine.
is top of page 3.
Yeah.
Sean yells, "Hey man, wrong door. We're over here." Get lost?
Yeah, I guess. I'm sorry.
A little different from where you live.
Yeah, I guess.
Here, help me with this desk.
Marcus, good to see you again. It's been a minute. I see you've met your new neighbor. We are already friends. Good to hear that. Well, let me know if you boys need any help.
You live here? Oh,
Not
I'm
mine.
sorry, I'm supposed to be
You're fine.
monotone. You live here? So, the big house.
Not mine.
Man, you had me thinking you were rich.
We are rich. What are you talking about? Good.
Okay.
Okay. Good. I'm glad.
Boy, it's hard not to jump into
Yeah.
add anything to the character. Monotone's hard.
Well, I have a hard time doing it too. I'm like, not mine. Wait, not mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Let's revisit. Let me regroup here. Give me.
Yeah.
Let's jump over. We're almost getting there. So let's jump over to where we just started that memorization exercise. Hey man, wrong door. We're over
Okay.
here. We'll just kind of break that down. So we broke down our first scene there. In this scene, Sean has just had a big realization that his friend actually lives in the same building that they're moving into. So our first want in the first scene that we kind of went through, we said Sean wants an answer from Marcus. I don't believe that would be what he wants in this scene. Do you agree?
Yes.
I think he more wants Marcus to reason with him almost. I don't think he necessarily wants an answer, more so to be a good friend, to be understanding.
Yeah, because he kind of comes to the realization that they're alike.
Yeah. And
Here.
that's like kind of the juxtapose to the beginning of being like, we kind of said the essential action for that was to get someone to be straight with me, to get someone to fess up and kind of mimic them. I would say for this one, it would be to get someone to be a good friend, or to get Marcus to understand that they're not as different as they think, or to get someone to understand, to be understanding. Yeah, I think that's great. So I'm gonna kind of give you like a tactic. What's called a tactic is kind of just a way that I can sense your direction. So for our first one, in the first scene, I kind of said to tease him, to kind of joke around with him. So for this one, I believe that Sean, to understand, to reason. So let's kind of give this another read through. You don't have to be monotone. You can give it some emotion. To reason, to understand, to get Marcus to be friends with him, um, to admit something would kind of work, but they're kind of more understanding, to be understanding. So let's go ahead and read through that. Let's read through that scene with that direct.
Starting on Hey Man, Wrong Door.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll read the action as well for this scene.
The direction or the
So the action would just be like Marcus hesitantly walks down the stairs with his head down. I'll read the action and I'll read Marcus's line. So all you have to read would be Sean.
okay.
Okay, let's go ahead.
You're gonna start at the where it says exterior housing project, or you?
Let's start with Hey Man, Wrong Door.
Okay, here we go. Hey man, wrong door. We're over here.
Marcus hesitantly walks down the stairs with his head down.
Did you get lost? A little different from where you live, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Here, help me with this desk.
Two boys pick up a heavy desk and struggle to bring it up the first step. The weight suddenly gets easier as a man steps in and helps them bring the desk up the stairs. They steadily climb up one stair at a time until they reach the second floor. Man, Rick, the landlord, stops and takes a long breath until he looks up and recognizes Marcus. Marcus, good to see you, man. It's been a minute. See, you've met your new neighbor. Sean looks at Marcus, confused. We are already friends. Oh, good to hear that. Well, let me know if you boys need any help. Rick walks off as the two boys stand awkwardly. Sean looks at Marcus, his head down, as he tries not to make eye contact.
You live here?
Silence falls upon them while Marcus wipes dust off the desk in front of him.
So the big house?
Not mine. Sean nods and takes a deep breath. He takes a step forward and puts a hand on Marcus's shoulder. He pauses and tries to find the right things to say.
Man, you had me thinking you were rich.
Marcus looks up and lets out a small, hesitant chuckle. We are rich. Well, what are you talking about? Marcus wipes the dust off the desk. They move it inside. Great. That was good. No, I liked that. I liked how you reasoned with him during, especially like after that beat change. So I think that beat change right after the landlord kind of reveals that revelation to them. They're like, oh my gosh. And to be like gentle towards him was a great thing you did. So
Yeah, it's a real human moment.
yeah, and like
Instead of confronting him, like, why'd you lie? He just let it settle.
yeah, and that was a good job. How even with the way I gave you the direction to be gentle or to be concerning in a way, kind of it was good. Okay, so I want to read through just for one more time. I want to give you kind of what's called an as if statement, which means kind of like to relate to something else outside of the script. So like this would be, so let's go back to the first scene that was in the car. If we're looking at Sean, and Sean wants an answer from Marcus, let's say, which he does. He's like, hey man, why don't you let me take you home? So he wants that answer. An as if would be an example of that outside of the script. So I wrote down some as ifs, like as if you're trying to get someone to work out with you, but they won't come with you. So I think that might not be the best as if for the situation, but it could be as if you're trying to get um if you're trying to get someone to do something, but they don't want to give you a clear answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just I think maybe you could, if you have any that you can think about that kind of relates to this scene. So in this scene, Sean and Marcus are are just sitting there, and Marcus is trying to deflect the situation, and Sean is trying to egg on the situation. So it could be as if um, you're trying to get your kid to understand math, but they're just trying to deflect anything you're saying. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I think that was good. I think we broke down pretty much everything. Do you feel good about that?
Yeah, yeah, I do. It's pretty clear to me that kind of the story will come together in the acting,
Yeah, yeah,
because, so many times an actor can say everything without having to say anything, which
yeah.
is,
And that's
yeah,
well, that's what I'm trying with the script. I'm working on making the dialogue a little bit more conversational and more action based, because
yeah,
there's a lot that can be said with the eyes and the emotions and
yeah.
whatnot. But that was great. This
Okay.
has something to say. We're gonna do next time for rehearsal two. If we do rehearsal two, we're gonna do the rope memorization exercise, and we're gonna try maybe a scene where we don't use the script next time. So yeah, that's great.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming and
Sure.
doing a rehearsal with me. Okay.
Happy to help. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. So great.